Have you ever thought your partner was cheating but they actually weren't? For 2 months, my boyfriend came home late every night, lying about what he was doing. Everything changed when I found a jewelry store receipt in his hoodie pocket. The receipt was from Tiffany & Co. dated 3 days ago. $28.47 for a custom engagement ring consultation. My hands were shaking as I read it. We'd been together 2 years, and he'd never mentioned marriage once. I called my sister immediately. He's probably buying it for someone else, she said. Why would he hide an engagement ring from you? That's when I noticed something at the bottom of the receipt. Special engraving instructions in tiny print. I squinted at the faded ink. It said property of Emily M. with my exact initials. My stomach flipped. Emily M. was me, Emily McGee. I heard Brian's keys in the door and quickly shoved the receipt back in his pocket. Hey babe, thanks for letting me wear this, I said, trying to sound normal as I handed back the hoodie. He looked panicked for half a second, then patted the pocket. No problem, he said, but his voice was weird. For the next week, I watched him like a hawk. He kept getting mysterious phone calls and stepping outside to take them. He started working late suddenly, like every single night. I'm just swamped with this new project, he'd say, but I could hear traffic in the background when he called. I decided to drive by his office one night. His car wasn't there. Instead, I found him at another jewelry store across town, standing at the counter with a small black box in his hands. He was talking to the sales associate, pointing at something inside the box. I ducked behind a parked car and watched through the window. The saleswoman was holding up different rings to the light, examining them closely. Brian nodded at one of them and she wrote something on a paper. He paid with his credit card and walked out with a tiny bag. I followed him home, staying way back. He went straight to our apartment and I waited 5 minutes before going in. How was work? I asked casually. Long day. Really exhausting project stuff, he said, not meeting my eyes. The next morning, I found the tiny jewelry store bag hidden in his sock drawer. Inside was a receipt for ring sizing. The ring was being adjusted from size 6 to size 5.5. I'm a size 5.5. That weekend, Brian suggested we go for a walk in the park where we had our first date. He was acting super nervous, checking his phone constantly and stumbling over his words. We got to the exact spot where he'd first kissed me 2 years ago. He stopped walking and turned to face me. Emily, I need to tell you something, he said, reaching into his jacket pocket. I couldn't help myself. I started smiling. Brian, before you say anything, I said. He pulled out the little black box anyway and got down on one knee right there on the path. Emily McGee, will you marry me? I burst out laughing. I already know about the receipt, I said. I saw it in your hoodie a week ago. So, will you marry me? Or are you just going to keep raiding my hoodie pockets for secrets? Of course, but from now on, your hoodies are our hoodies. We laughed and have been together for 7 years now, with baby number 2 due in 3 weeks. Funny how things just work out sometimes.